A new study confirms the old saying that you should not go to bed angry if you got into a fight with your significant other. This is interesting, and we've heard research on both sides of things, but let me tell you what Elite Daily is reporting. So the study comes from Nature Communications. The lead author of the study is named Yuji Liu. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And this is out of the Beijing Normal University, and Liu is also a student in neuroscience at the University College London. So they worked with 73 English male students, so this is a pretty small sample size for this study, and they perform an exercise that they are calling think/no think. Let me explain how this works. So before going to sleep, the men were shown a picture of a person's face with just a neutral expression. So just give me your best neutral expression. That's great, Amir. You look very neutral. Then each face was then associated with a negative or upsetting image, like dead bodies or crying children or something really upsetting like that. Think Murder with Friends. And then the men, they were asked to associate these faces with the negative images. And then after some time, they were given the images again, and they were told to forget the previous negative association. So forget what you knew about that before. And then before bed, their brain activity demonstrated they were 9% less likely to remember the upsetting images compared with the neutral images. So, however, when the test was performed a second time, this was after the participants had had time to go to sleep, they had a full night's rest, the brain activity showed that they were actually 3% less likely to remember the negative images, proving that the sleep made it easier for them to remember the pain. So
makes sense.
The stretch that they're kind of making here is that our brains are more likely to dump our experiences into long-term memory if we go to sleep, because our brain sort of reconciles our day while we sleep. What things that we should remember, the things that we should forget. It's sort of our reset button. I'm thinking a lot of Westworld right now as I'm talking this out.
So if you have a fight with your significant other and you don't resolve it before you go to bed, you're more likely to kind of hold on to those feelings.
You chronicle it.
Yeah.
It's you keep a record of it.
Instead of kind of just being like brushing it off and like moving forward.
But this would also imply that the fight would, it seems, have to be significantly traumatic. So we're not talking about little side swipes or little digs here and there. The images that the men in the study were being shown were upsetting images. You have to go to bed truly upset or angry, not just a little annoyed.
If you have like a big fight, shouting match with your significant other, and you just go to bed without resolving it, that's not good.
Right, that's what they're saying, that this is not good. But we didn't really see the full extent, again, since this was such a small study, of what the results would look like if it was just little digs, if they were shown the neutral expressions of the people, and then they were a little bit annoyed with something, like an annoying sound. Because I think more often than not, a lot of fights in relationships, and at least long-term relationships, come from the monotony. And the things that you don't say and the things that you bottle up, and then, one thing happens, it gets to a point,
I mean, that still applies here then.
Okay.
Because you do all those things, you don't talk about it, and you go to bed, and you chronicle that into your long-term memory, and then it just keeps piling up.
So what they're saying that you should do is that if you're in a fight with your significant other, you should try to resolve it before you go to sleep, because that will, quote, clear negative experiences before they make lasting impressions on your relationship and provide you with a more peaceful morning on the other side.
My girlfriend has been telling me this since we started dating.
That you can't go to sleep angry.
Yeah, and I disagreed with her. I'm like, no, sometimes we just gotta stop because this fight is going nowhere and I wanna go to sleep because I'm tired. I'm emotionally drained. And she would get really upset, and then it would make her even more upset if we didn't resolve it before we went to bed. And now that the study came out, I actually showed it to her and she was just like, ha.
So you would want to go to sleep, and then she would want to continue fighting, or just like working it out?
Both, and I would just be like, oh, I'm so tired, I just want to go to sleep. And I think that's like a guy thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you resolve your fights?
Well,
I feel like, first of all, you never fight with your girlfriend.
I really don't like talking about this because people think it's weird, because it's not that we don't fight. Because we are very different people. We're so different.
You guys also don't live with each other.
We don't live with each other.
That helps a lot.
So I think that's part of it. I also think that and this is truly a character flaw of mine that you are very well aware of, if I am called out on something, my first reaction is to apologize. It's not to defend myself. It could be something like, Grace, your sweatshirt fucking sucks. And I'd be like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, like,
would you like me to change? Yeah. I am a pushover. And my girlfriend is kind of the same way. So she doesn't take advantage of me. It's not like I'm a pushover and she just like beats me down and that's why I'm still in this relationship. It's that we're very similar in the sense of if I have hurt her feelings or if she has hurt my feelings, I'm wrong. I don't want to be right. I don't want to defend like, well, I'm sorry you feel that way or that sucks for you, but I'm right.
You're a
I
selfless
hate it.
person.
Well, no, I don't know if I would say that, but I just mean that like
In a relationship.
if her feelings are hurt, I would way rather just do what I need to do so that her feelings are no longer hurt than for me
You're willing to sacrifice for yourself to make sure the other person.
I just think that there's no glory in being right, and I also am.
Yeah, that's
I
good. That's
take
really
a
good.
weird joy in being wrong because then I can learn from it, and I'm not, I don't have all the answers, and I don't know what I'm doing, and that, I mean, look at my thing on my arm. Lean not on your own understanding. So when it comes to fights, I think of, we typically would resolve them very quickly because for me it comes down to what do I stand to gain here if I continue fighting? I'd rather, I really would just want to give her a hug.
Yeah.
And it's the same way with my friends too. Like if I were ever in a fight with you, I just start crying and I just want to give him a hug. Same with Hasan too. Whenever we've gotten into fights, it's just like, I don't want to be right. I can't sleep. I can't sleep if you're hurting.
It sucks when you're fighting with anyone. I mean, your friends too.
How do you sleep?
It's terrible.
You monster.
Yeah.
How do you go to sleep when you're fighting?
Drugs. Just take like so many Xanaxes until I pass out. And then I hope that like you forget. But like one interesting takeaway from this though is that if you do want to forget a traumatic experience, just deprive yourself of sleep. Because that way you won't dump it into your long-term memory.
Yeah, they did say that in the study. But again, this was with very traumatic incidences. So they were saying that people who had suffered a trauma were less likely to catalog the trauma in their long-term memory and might avoid PTSD. Now, this is just an inference. If they were sleep deprived, that's what they were saying. Now, this is a really difficult thing to test out, and it could be seen as very abusive if you were to test it out. But it is interesting to bring up. And you know what I was thinking when I was reading that about sleep deprivation following a really big fight or any form of trauma in your life or hurt or pain. I think the reason why sleep deprivation works is because you don't care about anything when you're sleep deprived. Everything is really put into perspective. You're like, is this fight worth it now? I haven't slept in days.
Yeah.
Is this worth it?
It's like when you're sick, all of your worldly problems go away when you're really sick because your body has to protect itself.
Yes. That's
In the
very
same, like
true.
your body needs sleep. Like I don't give a shit about any of this other bullshit.
So next time you get into a fight with your significant other, put yourself into a position of bodily stress.
Yeah, but like it only works if you guys both do it. If only one of you do it, then one of you will just forget about the fight and the other person will still be upset about it, which has happened to me before.
If you learned anything from this story, I hope you just got the weirdest relationship
I don't even remember
advice.
this. I fucking remember. So you guys both have to do it.
Yeah, you're gonna have the weirdest techniques now to solve your problems in your relationship, courtesy of Amir and myself. We hope this helped you out. What do you think about going to sleep angry? Do you do it? Do you not? Do you think the study's bullshit? There have been studies on both sides. So let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you next time on Pop Trigger.